Wow. Yay! Woo! Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to have you here today. Means a lot to me, to the team, to see so many familiar faces who've been following the project for so many years. Hello. So welcome to Biopod Unveil. Woo! Woohoo! So this is our first unveil, first of many, because as you know, we're doing different products for Earth and space. This one is the Biopod for terrestrial use. It's not designed to be on the moon. This one will only survive here on Earth. There is the moon version that will come in the coming years, but this one is for Earth. So, okay. So before we start and we unveil the pod, I just want to... Clicker? Never work with me. Okay. So I just want to remind a couple of things about the company. You heard me saying that like many times, but so Interstellar is based on the mission and on the vision first that becoming a multiplanetary species is a very exciting future. You don't have to believe that. I'm not asking you to believe that. I personally think, and I think most people in this company think that way, but the problem with the multi-planet species plan is that when it's built to leave the Earth and not taking into account what we have on this planet. And so the question, again, I've been saying that for many years, but I'm going to say it again. The question is, what's the point of trying to bring life to other planets if we're not protecting what we have on Earth right now? Clicker? No clicker. Okay. So our planet is an amazing place. This is the only planet so far we humans know where there is sentient life. There is probably sentient life on other planets, but right now what we know is what we have right now on this planet. And so what I want to say is that at Interstellar we believe that we can use technology that is usually designed for space and apply that back on Earth. So we can protect our biodiversity. Because we've been talking a lot about climate change lately, and I had the honor a few days ago to do the opening of the International Astronautical Congress, where all the discussion was about how we can use space to protect our planet, to track what's going on, and to monitor climate change. The clicker is really not working, so okay, I don't know where I need to go. And so those are beautiful images of our planet. But so it's a biosphere with a lot of ecosystem where the balance and the equilibrium is by the collaboration between the different species. Okay, do you have another one? I don't know. But yeah, so plants, fungi, they're kind of the building blocks of what we have on this planet. So here I want to emphasize the importance of the plant ecosystem because we talk a lot about other species, but sometimes we don't talk about the biodiversity and plants we have here. Okay, fungi, beautiful, very important. I'll try again. So plants, flowers, fungi. Thank you. Okay, merci beaucoup. This is my sister, Apollonia. Big applause. Thank you so much. A lot of people are involved in this project. Okay, so plants, fungi, and they're a lot in many things. So they not only feed humans, but they also serve for medicine. They're used in cosmetics. They use it. Natural ingredients are used in many products that we use every day. And so it's also help plants preserving and create the habitats so species can live. So when you have species disappearing on Earth, plants disappearing on Earth, it's entire habitats of insects and animals that also disappear. So it's very important that we recognize the importance of plants and also what's going on now on our planet. And so, sorry, I'm gonna drop some figures. I'm optimistic, so don't be afraid. But I just want to remind us of the figures about why we need right now sustainable farming solution. Why agriculture right now it's not sustainable, and there is a need to completely change our approach. And then you'll understand why we're doing the Biopod. Because I've been asked this question, well, you want to grow food on Mars? I'm like, well, actually, we're doing stuff on Earth. So I'm explaining now. So 26% of greenhouse gas emission are coming from agriculture. And in this figure accounts also CO2. One figure that people don't know about is that there is no equipped greenhouse on this planet except the biopod that is using the CO2 that is in the atmosphere. They're all using CO2 tanks that are made by burning methane. Is it like completely insane? We are trying to scrap CO2 from our planet, but to grow our food in indoor farm doing leafy greens, we use CO2 tanks. Something's off here, I think. I'm not the only one. Current agriculture is using 50% of the habitable land that we have on this planet. And that's not working. And it's creating a disequilibrium within our biosphere because there is too much land that we're taking from wilderness. And wilderness equals biodiversity. Biodiversity equals stability, equilibrium in the biosphere. And so again, agriculture is using too much land. And we are too many people, population's growing. So we need to find new technology that can help us avoid this big problem that we have. 70% of fresh water is used for agriculture. Why? Because everything's open and just the water evaporates and we keep on pouring more and more water to grow more and more plants. And again, I think it doesn't make sense. And water is going to be at scarcity at a certain point, unfortunately. This one is crazy. 78% of the pollution of the ocean is coming from agriculture. And we don't talk about that, but all the used water, then they're just left into rivers, and they go into phreatic naps, and then just go into the ocean, and they're destroying so many species. So that's, again, not a sustainable approach, not to have water system attached to our agricultural system. Okay, then I'm two more figures, and then I'll be more optimistic because there is a lot of hope, actually. So 96% of the species that are at risk of extinction, it's because of agriculture, because it's destroying the habitat, because there is deforestation, because we're taking too much land. Again, the problem is the land and the resources we're using and the fact that it's not regenerative. We're not reusing the waste that we're producing with agriculture. Last but no, it's not almost the last one. 40 plant species are at risk of extinction right now on Earth. 40% of the plant species. It's a big figure. It's been published only 2 years ago because before nobody really cared about plants disappearing. Now people starting being like, oh shit. Sorry. The last one, and I think it's kind of an interesting one. So there are around 400,000 plant species on Earth. 300,000 are edible. It means we can eat them. They can feed us. But because of how agriculture is designed and all the supply chain system, 15% of the species represent 90% of our food globally. It's again, why aren't we eating the rest of the species and then contributing to biodiversity instead of building huge farms only growing the same thing and killing existing biodiversity on Earth? Okay, before the big show, what I want to say. So and those figures are a little bit alarming, but it's good to know the problem if you want to build a solution. And so as soon as you know the problem, you acknowledge it, then you can think about how can we develop new system to try to fix that. And this is what we're trying to do at Interstellar. The company is young. We're 4 years old. We're 45 people. You guys, I'm going to call you up on stage, so no worries. You can recognize if they have blue tag. But so there is a lot of hope. There is a lot of hope because if you know the problems, you can find the solution, and that's what we do. And so Biopod is a first step towards building a sustainable farming system on this planet. And I think without further ado, shall we unveil? Okay. Okay. Okay, just after. There's a quick presentation, so I asked him to do that. Okay, we're gonna take you guys upstairs because right now it's a bit far for all of you to see. But this is a real biopod. We built it. It's the first one of a small batch of 10 units. We're gonna build in the 12 coming months. So we'll take you up there so you can see with your eyes what we're growing inside. Before that, I'm just gonna give a little bit more explanation on this product. So it looks very spacey. It's on purpose because we've been inspired by space, and I'll explain where we come up with this design. So it's 11 meter long, 6 meter wide, and actually 7.5 meter high because it stands on feet. You don't see that in that render, but you'll see it in real. It's made out of a base that is composite material, so it's pretty much like a boat if you want to simplify it. But so it's very resistant and have very good thermal insulation. All the systems are inside: hydraulic, atmospheric systems. Then you have the racks with their growing. We do everything aeroponic, so we use very little amount of water. And the membrane is an inflated membrane. So it's an inflated dome, completely sealed from the exterior environment, inside which we reuse all the resources. Right now, we are not providing power, so the biopod is plugged into the grids. The next version is going to offer with solar panels, so you can directly harvest the power from the sun. So inside the base, I think one of the most important parts is the CO2 scrubber. So biopod is breathing because it's an inflated bubble. It breathes air, it inflates, and then it selects between the oxygen and the CO2. It vents the O2 out. It keeps the CO2 and increase the level of CO2 inside, and then produce oxygen. So we use around, right now the figures is around 1 ton of CO2 a year per biopod. And everything's automated inside. So it's not only a hardware, it's a hardware, a software, and then also a list of recipes, which is super important. What you can see here are the real dashboards. Upstairs, you'll see a screen with all the data coming from the sensors inside the biopod, so you can really see how we're monitoring the CO2, humidity, and temperature. And so what we've been doing here with the team, the agronomist team, has been testing different plants in small systems, small phytotrons, small greenhouses, so we can build what we call recipes. And so a recipe is then turned into a program, and so when you launch the biopod, you just play a program tropical, program vanilla, program vetiver. So what we do is a hardware, a software, so intelligence, and it's the catalog of species. Because our goal is to be able to provide solution for anyone to grow anything anywhere. So we're on this mission to build the largest catalog of species. So a catalog is the recipe that you can put inside. We've been focusing on usually things people don't do. Okay, we did strawberry, because we have a lot of people who grow strawberry before in other indoor companies. No, but we've been working on like plants that usually you don't grow in controlled environment. There is a lot of plants that are used in cosmetics, in food, in pharmaceutical, and also some endangered species. So those are like some key figures to remember about the biopod. So it's 1 ton of CO2 per pod, around 5 ton of biomass. This one still is going to be optimized because you'll see there is a lot of space still again in the growing area, so we can increase. 98% of water safe. So usually, if it's not an electric car and you have a car, you put into fuel. Here you don't put fuel. Here you put water, and then you stop, you get out, and then the water is recycled, and it's a closed loop. So we use very, very little amount of water. Land reduction, up to 94 land reduction, which is a huge factor. It depends on the size of the species. The smaller they are, the more we can stack. So the more land we actually reduce in terms of footprint. Biopod doesn't touch the ground, so it doesn't harm the soil. So there is no pollution that is going back, also because the water treatment system is directly inside the biopod. So basically you have a machine that needs energy, but you put water and then there is no waste. There is nothing going out. Everything is recycled. There is still some part, of course, some membranes for filtration and treatment. Over time, we'll improve the product. There is always room for improvement. It's a good first start. The use cases, obviously food. Though the size of this one is pretty small, so we're not pretending with the biopod of this model we're going to feed the entire planet. We have a much bigger size coming in after. Though it can feed communities and small villages and hospital and hotel and different places. Health and beauty, I've been talking a lot about that, like some very rare species. Education and research, the biopod is the best tool to try to test the climate change and the impact of variation of CO2 and temperature of plants and biodiversity conservation. So you can recreate perfect climate to grow endangered species. And the first one we actually created a mix of a tropical climate that support all those regions. So we have plants right now growing in the biopod that are coming from those 3 regions. So it's pretty hot and humid one side right now inside the pod. And those are the plant list, the 12 plants that we're growing. So we have vetiver that is used in the perfume industry, fig of Barbarie that you can eat, vanilla. Vanilla is endangered and also it's very used and in high demand all the time. We had a huge record when it comes to growing vanilla. We're very proud of our figures. Comet orchid, which is an endangered species, golden berry that you can eat, passion fruit that you can eat. One of my favorite, and I talk a lot about this guy, is the Madagascar periwinkle. Madagascar periwinkle produce 2 molecules, 2 alkaloids that are used in treatment for cancer. And by playing with the right environmental condition, you can increase the production of those molecules. And it's probably, okay, I'm going to say it. I think it's the first plant that we'll send to space, but that's another project. It's not related to this biopod. Okay, some part of the process. So it's a biopod comes from like the first vision was to design a station. We started with a station on the moon, then a station on Mars, and how we can build system in closed loop. So those are like very from a couple of years ago, and so we made those. Iteration from a station to isolate and to work on one module, the module for crop production. And we did a lot of iteration on the crop production model to make it a terrestrial version. So the past 2 years, basically a year and a half, we've been working a lot on what is called design for manufacturing and assembly. So we can move from a concept to actually a product you can manufacture at scale. Because our target is to this year 10 biopods, but next year we're preparing to have our own factory to be able to increase production so we can reach like 100 biopods a year. And so we came up with this, and then you'll see the beast just after. Something I want to talk about is also it's teamwork at Interstellar Lab. It's great, you see me doing the unveil and the presentation, but with that, the team of like 30 people that have been dedicating so much of their life and so much time and energy and so supportive. I love you guys. You're the best. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I want to say a special mention. I lost him. I got it. I think he's here. So to Jim René, over here, he's our Chief Product Officer. Woo! Yay! So Jim joined 2 years ago, and he really helped transforming the vision in something we can really manufacture and produce. And also a mention to the Guardians of the Galaxy. So those who have been there for the very beginning. Thibaut is here. He's the first employee of Interstellar. Thibaut was bold enough to see me on screen on TV saying some like silly stuff about what I wanted to do, and he reached out and he got his internship, and since then he's been with us. And then the Guardians of Galaxy, this is their nickname. So we have Martin, plant scientist. We have Jeremy, where is he? Software engineer. We're Matteo, Italian. He's here. Who am I missing? I'm missing one Guardian. Ah oui, Mathieu, il est là. And Mathieu, number 2, employee number 2 of the company, Mathieu. But they've been here since the beginning, and I know it means a lot for them to be here today. And thank you all. I'm not going to mention all the team, 30 people, but I'll invite you all on stage after. We saw Antoine, who's the lead agronomist, who's a very important person. And he has an amazing team, and also it makes everyone a little bit pissed because they're always on time and very well organized. Okay, so that's the beast from inside, because today we will not be able to take you guys inside the biopod, but so you can see so how it's built. So it's exactly the same thing that you've seen from the renders, because the renders are just rendering of our actual plants. So here this is vetiver, here geranium, orchid. And so you'll see. So we have all the racks inside and the different plants. You have the SAS. Inside the base, you have all the system. And here you can see the base, but you'll be able to see it in real. So yeah, that's the biopod. Thank you so much for coming to this unveil. And I hope you guys will have a great night. Thank you. Come up, the team, Interstellar Lab team. Come over here. Allez. Come on. Allez. Yay! Bravo! Allez! Yeah. Come on, guys, you're never so shy. Yay! DJ music. Merci Loïc, vas-y. Cool. Okay, now we can do question, but I think we can do question while doing the visits. You have drinks, food's gonna be served. We have great food. Hello, there's a little cute baby. Sorry. Enjoy the evening. Thank you so much for coming, and let's the party start. To visit the pod, sorry, I forgot to mention, the entrance is going to be through here. You'll pass the maquette, you'll be close to the pod, and then you go upstairs and you have the beautiful view, the ocean view of the pod. Thank you.